All right, Jian Cheng, can you share your screen first? You can see whether what basically have been done already from those. It's okay if you don't finish yet, they're right.
So can you see my screen right?
Yeah, you can see the screen there, right?
So I basically I have only done my head. I
Okay,
have a picture of me.
okay,
I try to.
all right, good. All right.
So I
Mm,
have this picture here.
mm,
Yeah. The original one is actually like this. Is the original one, and this is the one that I add the adjustment black and white, and then I use the yeah, and I use the liquid fight to to make the eyes bigger, and then I sharper the my chin here, so to make it look like caricature, and then make my nose like pointed a bit, uh, just nothing much different now. And then I just clear the background and
okay.
just leave one head.
Mm,
And then later, I found the reference picture of the one. I just turn down the opacity, and then I make them to black and white. And then later I trace them a rough trace lah. I just trace them like this. Then I adjust the while for the body, because just now I feel like the head like ran from the proportion.
okay,
I just yeah. So I
okay.
basically all I did is only until here.
All right. Okay, next one there. Thank you there, right? I want to show you guys, okay, how actually we can adapt some of the less detail on the patterns there later on, because a lot of people, when you actually draw a character with a lot of patterns there, right, it will be quite difficult for you to apply some of the details there. So some people actually find out, right, it's quite tedious, right? It's quite hard for you to develop the kind of details, okay, when you paint it up first, right? Okay? So I have a few kind of solutions. I have a kind of solution that you guys could apply from there. Okay, for examples, okay, when I actually draw one of my Spider-Man, okay, for one of my kids there, okay, you guys can see my screen, is it? No? So one of the things that I actually have been working out there, okay, for the samples here. Mm, if you take a look closely there, okay, on some of the detailings here that I actually try to paint, right? Some of the line works there, okay? Of the textures, I didn't actually write add a bit kind of details. I didn't actually write focus on that. But some of the details of the line, I'm using a very soft kind of strokes there to indicate some of the patterns there, right? In order to develop this kind of detailing here, okay, when you paint basically them back there, right? Okay, to give a bit kind of indications of the details there, even though with the rings, okay, soft line of shadows there, soft line of the shadows from here, to paint and add some of the highlight kind of line there to show some sort of like a glowy kind of effect. All this kind of thing using a very basics kind of brushes that works. Um, okay, if we go through with the Spider-Man kind of characters there, right? Where is it? Like this one, right? From these Spider-Verse kind of characters there, what I did with the spider web kind of patterns there, I'm trying to draw some suggestions of indications of those patterns there. I'm not actually trying to adapt a lot of details from there, but if you zoom out there basically, right, okay, it's look like it's almost complete. It's almost complete there. Take a look closely there, right, okay. It's an indication only some of the details, right? I'm not actually focused a lot of details from there. We're not actually focused on super realistic, but we make believe the visual, it works. Okay, it kind of works okay, to present it well there. Okay, same goes to the patterns over here. Right, I try to create some sort of like a tattoo there, okay, on this body there, okay. Even though I don't have one, but I just try to create some imaginary kind of tattoo there, okay. What I can do from here, I'm using a lasso tools, try to create some of the patterns that I have that I can design in my head. Okay. Okay. And then I'm kind of using alternate backspace. And of course, from this pattern, basically, it looks a bit kind of blending together because I'm using multiply and reduce the opacity at the same time. Try to give that kind of impact of those details there. Okay, the videos I'm going to share later on, okay, with you guys, how actually I do those kind of works. At the same time, okay, let me check back again my Google Drive, whether the video is ready or not. There. So I'm going to download that first. Week 3, article for DML1 that is now, sections 1. So the things that matters right now, okay, let's just say that I want to some details for the, someone asked me about the Aquaman before they were, what type of, sorry, they were, what type of pose that I might going to use there, okay? I would say when I actually look at the samples there, okay, can you take a look, right? If you look into all these kind of details, yes, you will find a lot of difficult to paint them, okay, to draw them back. But if you want to challenge yourself, like I said, okay, you need to be smart to give yourself a time to develop the right kind of understanding there. For me, there, okay, for my kind of calculations, I'm not going to use that particular kind of reference there to develop my kind of models or my kind of reference there, right? So I would say I really love to use different kind of reference there that will give more impact on my understanding at the same time. Okay, the first thing that you need to understand is when you have this kind of reference with you save as. You must be able to analyze where is it the shadows, where basically the highlights there, okay? Don't just simply look at the reference here and then you will say, oh, this one look nice. I can draw them. Analyze them first, guys. Analyze them first. Yeah, especially for those who have a weakness to develop their skills there at the first time there, right? You need to basically understand, right, the choice of reference that you use to develop back again to paint. It will be give you more advantage to understand how it works. Okay, let's just say I have that kind of photos, I have that kind of reference with me. So save this one there first. This is by the grander, right? So can you see how actually I put some of the details there? I'm not actually trying to indicate some of the details according to the reference here. This is the reference there, right? I kind of simplified a bit as long as can give more impact on the presentations. That's all. Nothing actually right big about this one. Okay, now let's just say I'm using the same pictures, the same reference over here. Okay, this is basically my kind of paintings without outline there. Can you see all the kind of detail that I try to apply, but with the outline, they kind of complete the whole kind of presentations. Okay, so let's just say I'm going to open up new files first. 8 by 11 inch, 150 dpi. I'm going to roll, oops, sorry, guys. Roll this one. There, right? What happened? Roll this one there. Roll this one. Put it over here. I kind of going to delete this one there. Erase this. Hot erases. And I'm going to erase this one there. Why I erase this one? I'm going to put another body inside there. I'm going to add another bodies here. So what I'm going to do next? Open up these images. I'm going to select this one there. Copy. Paste. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now, of course, I'm going to cut these areas there so they're not going to be messed up with my kind of ideas of working with it. Right now, what I can do next, I can actually squash a little bit. That just says squash a little bit, and I'm going to kind of distort right here. Yeah. To give a bit kind of real kind of impact on the visuals here, right? Yeah. To give a bit kind of realistic or make believe there, okay? Kind of understanding here. DML2S1. I'm talking about how to use the proper kind of channels to develop basically your kind of understanding by applying the proportions. They look quite right. What I can do right here, brush tool back again. I'm going to use the same kind of brushes that I used before. Okay. But the colors of those brushes are going to be paint line are going to be different a bit. Okay. Um, Not the happy brushes, but these brushes here. You see that? What I'm going to do, I'm not going to draw the outline, but I'm going to draw. If you take a look at this reference here that I have, they kind of like, there's a lot of details there that some people will find when you actually have a not have enough experience there, you will actually draw the visuals look a bit more like toys there rather than the actual human kind of figures. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to improvise them a bit. Okay, this is basically the cane there, right? I'm going to change a bit. Improvise the thing that we saw. This is what we call creativity there. I'm not actually trace the whole thing, entire thing, according to the reference. But what I did basically, right? I'm trying to improvise back again. Yeah. So right here, this is the right. This one look a bit more like a toy directly. So what? That's why I try to improvise a little bit there because we taking from the toys kind of visuals directly. Some of the details from here, I'm going to simplify it a bit because to give me more room for to focus more on the paint styles that indicate basically the actual kind of needs for me to illustrate them back. That's why we call illustrate there, right? We visualize them, not to trace them. Okay? To visualize them back, illustrate them back. If you trace them, basically you trace the whole thing entirely back again in your own way. See, I'm not actually trying to indicate this kind of segments there, right, okay, too much, because I try to visualize and draw them back. So this art of drawing need to carefully develops along the way. So what I can do right here, I can actually write using a bit kind of like a boots over here directly for those areas. A boot kind of style there. More like a human than a toy there, right? But those basically are done. Some of the details here, I kind of use a line to add some of the details there. So when I paint, I will paint a bit more simplified, but it still can be defined, the shapes that we draw. Not actually taking too serious on the on those details before I'm going to improvise them. Okay, straight line direct, not the right. One straight line. Yeah. Basically, we have image. See? Still look is not off from the proportions. Okay, using the same kind of drawings there. Okay, if you take a look right now, okay, between the head strokes and also the body, it still look the same in the same families. It's a synchronized already. That's basically that you need to learn from time to time when you draw your kind of craft there, right? So you need to develop that kind of ideas there to work, the way of working. And then you can combine them together here. Then I'm kind of, okay, one of the easiest way for you to make sure that you can actually do some sort of very good kind of connection line there, right? By make sure they're all kind of what we call that areas when you draw, when you actually draw there, right? It's all been closed, okay? The strokes there, okay, been closed there. All the line have been closed there. So easy for you to do some selections later on. If some of the styles that we see from some of the artists there, right, they use kind of like bold kind of outline there. So easy for them to work. So what I can do right now, I'm using the selection tools like this. I use the selection tools there. Or I can use also the magic wand. The magic wand there, right? Do some selections over here. Same thing. Okay. See? What I can do, I can inverse them, right? Select, inverse. Add new layers below the drawing layers there. And then I can actually add some colors there. What color of the base colors over here? The color of the base colors are going to be, color is it? Yeah. For example there, right? So why actually using this kind of base colors over there? And later on I can actually write basically if I'm using the head back again there, right? So I kind of actually write, okay, this one, okay, I can actually use the logic of using those kind of paint styles there to work. So okay, one of the way that actually I can work with this kind of paint styles there without having enough kind of issues there by this one there, right? Let's just say I'm not going to paint back again all those visuals there. I have the highlights over here, merge the layers, right? What I can do, I kind of bring over here. So what I can do next, right? See? This is basically the shadows, tone, and layers that I actually have done before there, right? To cut basically some of the methods there. Work smart there, right, for that. If you have the right kind of tone for every single kind of your kind of works, you didn't have to do a lot of job later on. Okay? The struggle that you have been faced before will give you more freedom to execute a new way of working with your visual that you can cut more time there. Okay? Okay? Yeah. I can even also write just a bit kind of colors there, okay, according to what I want, okay, adjust a bit. Yeah, that's what I say, work smart there, right? I even actually can use color balance, kind of off there. I never use this color balance in, you see, it just bit more lighter kind of tones, bit there, right? Mm. You see, guys? What I can do right now, I just focus more on these visuals here. So how I'm going to paint them. The things that I need to do, duplicate the layers there. I can close. Right, this one I'm going to adjust back in the colors, the opacities, put it over here as a reference. So every time that I actually paint, I'm going to refer to them back there, right? So what are the things we can do from here? There's a lot of sections there, okay, for us to work. This is basically the body there, right? Okay. What are the base color of this body there? What I can do, I can actually separate in this part. I'm not going to do some. I'm not going to use this one anymore. Okay. I can use that. Okay. You understand what I mean there, right? Okay. I'm not to paint the faces on anymore. Okay. So what I can do, I can actually separate this part there. Okay. I'm only color these areas only, the body areas there. So what I can do, I can deselect these areas, and I can actually copy and paste that, duplicate. Okay. I'll leave it over here. Okay. This is the actual kind of selections base color there, right? So this is the body there, okay? Basically the full figures there, full shapes there, right? But then get mixed up there towards. So what I can do right here, the base color for this, the whole illustrations there, is going to be red, green, and also orange. Right, orange there, right? So the base color for this one, for example, like I do some selections over here. Okay. Another selections over here. Okay, most of the areas that define different kind of tone or different kind of color, kind of base color there, right? I'm going to do some deselections there. Okay. I'm going to do some deselections there, right? Yeah, like that. Okay. Same goes to this one. This one also doesn't have resembling there anymore. Same goes to this one there. I think I'll do some selections there. I think you guys have learned okay before this how it works. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, there, guys. Okay, this one basically is from green colors there. What I can do right now, I can actually separate them between copy paste selections there. Select them back. Use the base colors of green, for example, here. Have the base colors there. So we indicate all the base color first before we're going to paint them back. Yeah. This is basically right here. The color going to be effect from the full shapes of those base color here there, okay? Without them, they're going to be white background over there. You guys understand that, right? Is it hard to separate the layers there? 1, 2, 3, 4 layers there only there, okay? Because every time when you paint, we can paint on top of it, you can add another layers from there. So what next we can do from here? This part here. Separate them. But this part I'm going to separate them first. Okay. This part basically I'm going to separate them first there. So I know basically okay from the new features of Photoshop, okay, quick selection tools and some of the tools will give you more kind of freedom for you to select some of the areas there. I kind of like use these lasso tools quite quickly, copy and paste there, right? And I can actually change the colors if I want to there, okay? Like I want to use this yellow, glow kind of colors there. Okay. Okay. So basically we have the base colors right here for all three parts, okay, except this cane there, right, okay? You can see, right, okay, the line also doesn't look right there, okay? Just like that going to be moved into the left, right side a little bit there. So it's not a problem there. We can actually change later on there, right? So what I can do from here, okay, I'm going to indicate the shadows line. First of all, okay, because we have paint over here, you can see from the previous videos. For me, it's no point. Basically, I'm going to show the same thing later on. I still say it's hard for you to use that to work on that. So what I can do right now, because I already show you guys a lot that techniques before. So what I can do right now, I'm going to adjust the flows only. Adjust the size, soft brushes, and paint. Just paint there, right? According to the shadows line. Where is it? Over there, the shadows there. I'm not actually add a lot of details from there because I know it's going to be hard for you guys to indicate those kind of details. If you can actually apply that, go ahead. But right now, I didn't actually focus on that too much. Okay. So what's next that we can, because when we actually show you guys a lot of details, I would say a lot of details, a lot of basics kind of understanding also you cannot actually apply yet. Right now, using soft brushes, I kind of paint the shadows for those chrome line there. I mean,
Yes, sir.
right. So right now, what we can do directly, I kind of what we call using different light colors there to indicate the shine effects over here. Yeah. I'm not trying to do a lot of super realistic kind of techniques, but show basically from far the shine of it. Even though there's a lot of things that we can do from, like I can add more kind of areas of details like that to work with it. I'm not actually give a damn about those, some of the detailing of the patterns. You see the textures over there, right? I kind of like, I'm not trying to distract myself there towards on that kind of methods there. So what I can do right now, deselections back again. All right, focus on this body part there, right? Even though the color selection from these green colors with these green colors is slightly different, but focus on the shadows line. What I can do here, sorry guys. I can use different layers there for the belt, okay? But I'm going to make a bit kind of quicker there, okay? Quick kind of paint styles. I'm not using another layer there. So what we go from here, how actually we're going to go from here directly, adjust the size back again, and indicate the areas of shadows there. The shadows came from the side. There's the shadows fall off over here first, also at the same time direct. So this side also has a shadow there. I'm not actually focus detail, right? I don't give a damn about it. Why? Because if I go through more and more details there, okay, there's no point. Your foundation is not that right there, okay. You still have a struggle. Like some of you guys still struggle all to develop that kind of details there. What I can do, add some shadows line over here by using a very simple kind of indications of shadows. You still can make your presentation look believable there, guys. Right, creativity doesn't have to be, everything has to be detailed in there, right? I saw some of the students, they spend over 2 or 3 days okay, to complete one single illustration there, right? Paint styles. But by the end of the semesters, or when they move into another next semester, okay, they won't be able to touch back again those paint kind of stuff there. Why? Because the result of making that kind of styles is very tedious, very complicated, and they won't enjoying basically the process there, right? Because the result they get is quite long there, right? Right now, when I actually paint it up, I didn't spend too much time there, okay, to get the results there. Even though if I want to paint, okay, do some selections here, the shadows line there, right, for those body. What I can do here, okay, the shadows fall off over here, right? Obviously, then over here, okay, also have the shadows. Should have the shadows there. If you cannot see all this kind of basics understanding of the shadows there, right? Go back into our lessons. How to indicate the shadows areas there. It's a matter of how basically you can develop that kind of understanding logically to paint the shadows. Okay, this part basically has a gold plate there, right? So I'm going to improve back again later on, just a bit. I just paint the shadows over here. as long as you can get a very quick result there. My kind of what we call that suggestions, if you can get a very quick results to paint, that means you're in the right track. Sorry, there I get cut here. If I want to have a very quick results, I'm going to add some shadow highlight over here. Okay. Kind of highlights over here a bit. Highlights over here a bit. Kind of highlights over here. The difference there. The highlights there, right? Even though using the green kind of plate, right? You can kind of create some highlights over here. Everyone need a fast result there, right? So I give you guys a fast result here. You spend, right, your particular technique that you say, that you show, that you actually work before, okay? More than 5 hours there. Take a look how actually I create my kind of problems, solve my own problems here when it comes to pain, right? Not because I used to work on that. The understanding there, guys, okay, how you develop those understanding when you learn my lessons there. Even though there's a lot of detail we can do from here, okay, but I think this is more than what we can actually indicate first at the first stage. Save the files there. This cane basically is a bit kind of brownish there, I believe. So what I can do is time to do some selections. So I'm going to select this part. Oh, wait, all right. I'm going to select this part, all right. Quite complicated a bit there. So I have to find different solutions that works. All right. What I can do, I can try to use magic wand here. You select this part there, right? Oh. Yeah. This part may be a little bit tricky there, right? Okay, what I can do, because this line there, right? Okay? What I can do, I can actually redraw them if I want to, but I kind of like to separate like this one there, right? Okay. So I don't have to redraw them back again. So same goes to this one. I can actually select them, select this part here. Sorry, there, right? Using those lasso tools to select this part here. Same goes to these areas. Same goes to this area there, right? Okay. What I can do from here, there, guys. Belt, the cane. Right there, the cane there, right? Okay. So what I can do right here, I can use the base colors if I want to, like brownish a bit, right? Bronze, brown. There. Bronze a bit. Okay. bit different than the same the colors that we have. I believe it's a little bit kind of gold there. So what I can do, I can actually use these colors, okay, to give different kind of indications of look, right? Okay, so I'm not using the same colors there. Yeah, going to become creative there. So we work on that just a bit. If the colors, we check back again where's the light and shadows. The light came, the shadows can fall off a little bit right here. There's a bit right here. They're kind of mixed up there, guys. Okay, if you don't actually learn to analyze all these kind of methods of working, it's going to be really hard for you guys to indicate where is it the shadows and light. Okay, will be fall off there. It's going to be hard there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce a little bit, as long as put the shadows there, light over here, the shadows there, and the light came over here a bit there, right? Yeah, give a bit kind of small indications there first, not to take serious on it. There, just right here and a bit there. At the moment, this will be kind of shine there, right? But enough. You need it more. Had to be kind of soft, what we call that, more tone to create the shadows line. Shadows reflections, okay? Of course, you have to do some selections there first. Yeah. So what's next that we can do from here? It's basically a tricky kind of patterns, right? Patterns there, right? What we can do from here. Okay, one of the way basically I always do, right, to indicate those kind of patterns other than just draw them, but the highlight there, right? What I can do here, I kind of going to play with some of the highlights over here. Not too much, a few kind of highlights there, just to give a kind of suggestions of the patterns there. Right? If you want to plan with those kind of details, I would say they're going to have a lot of time there to spend. Right? So what I can do, I kind of give some suggestions right here. There. From far, big kind of details there, right? Same goes to this part there, right? Kind of give big kind of suggestions there, but not too much there, right? So it show basically some of the patterns of the glowing kind of effects. At the same time, we can actually give a little bit kind of detailings. So let's say this body there, right? Some of the glow effects a little bit more. So the difference between what you have in mind and what actually has been practiced, I'm not going to force myself to paint all these kind of details there. I'm going to use the illustrations license that we have to play with the kind of effects there. Same goes to this part there, right? Okay, glowing effect for those areas there. little bit. And go to these areas here. If you being too naive there, okay, let's just say, oh, it doesn't look like reals there, okay. Who cares about it? As long as you present it well. Remember what I said before. If I want to train you guys, okay, train you guys to become a copier there, right, okay, copycat there, right, okay, I will spend more time for me to explain and to demonstrate how to copy exactly what you see. I don't want to train you guys to become a, copy there, right, okay, copycat kind of people there. Right? I want you guys to become creative kind of development developers there, okay, who actually can develop a new kind of way to approach to develop to solve your problems. Not to find yourself cannot achieve the main objective of your works by you stress you guys self a lot. You do something is not yet on your levels yet. Okay? Presentables there, guys, is look presentables there, right? Those are the most important thing that we learn from here. Okay, what I can do right now, I want to use this kind of shapes here, okay? Can you see that, okay? The shapes over here, okay, to add some shadows there, to add more and more details there. What I can do from here, I kind of can indicate these areas as the shadows, and some of the areas here as the shadows there, right? So for example, like this one. Okay, this part basically I'm going to do some selections. Do the kind of selections there. Sorry there guys, okay. It's quite complicated for some people to use this kind of methods. I want to add some shadows these areas, a bit kind of shadows these areas here. Some of the areas a bit here. So I'm going to add some shadows line over here. Maybe this part a bit there, right? And this part a bit. If you're talking about different kind of art styles or different kind of methods there, okay, this is a bit that I actually use a lot when I actually write. Paint basically my illustrations there. It'll be kind of complicated for you if you don't actually make use to work with the lasso tools there. I'm going to show you guys how it works here. I just copy and paste basically these patterns there, right? So what I can do, I can multiply them. See? Multiply them. And multiply them, right? So I erase some of the areas that are not actually suitable enough for the shadows. Okay. What I can do next, I can actually close this one there, right? This one I can close. What is this there? Sorry. Okay, what I can do right here, I kind of like some of the parts over here I can actually reduce. Okay. Right, delete this one. This is what the level of details that you can go when you start to paint there, right? Okay, what I can do right now, I can go to filters, blur, Gaussian blur there, right? See, this is without blur there, right? Okay, then I can change the blur there, okay, to give more kind of a value of tone for my visuals here. Different kind of tones there, right? Yeah. This part basically working from the base colors there. And of course, I didn't paint this one, okay? I don't care. All right. So where's the cane? Layers. Okay, the next thing is, let's just say I kind of love this kind of visuals. Okay, save the file first, watch the layers, save as into, right. This one I'm going to use some background there, right. So I'm going to delete this one, put it back there, right. I can actually add some textures there to indicate there's some details there, but using copy paste, okay, cut and paste, okay, paste E2 to work from that, but I don't want to use that. And underwaters there, okay, pictures of underwaters there. Right, kind of underwaters kind of pictures that we can use in order to indicate the right kind of compositions. Sorry there, guys. Okay, compositions there. So to find the right kind of underwaters kind of composition is not that easy there, right? I would say it's quite hard also to find the right one because there's a light over here that we can actually we need to blend it up together with our illustration at the same time, right? I'm not saying it's quite easy here. So I try first, but make it as simple as I can be. It's more better there, right? Because they're going to have a different kind of reflections there, the light kind of reflections that we actually have to work with it, right? So why don't actually we save this file there first, see whether I can actually make use of it or not. So the choices of the visual that you want to use also will give a lot of impact there, right? Okay, on your presentation. That's why we have to be careful a bit at the moments to give us the choices there. What I can do right now, right? I'm going to use maybe this one. Select all, copy, paste right here. Look nice. Yeah. Right. So work smart there, right? Is it okay? So what I'm going to do next is of all, I can duplicate the layers there. First, okay. These drawing duplications there, right? Okay. Do some selections. Okay. Base color for the shadows are going to be a bit more bluish there, right? Alternate backspace. Then I'm going to transform them. That's what I'm going to do here. Let's just I'm using multiply there first. Right. The next thing that I can do, I can use those edit, transform, perspective. Okay. Perspective there. Then I can also use some blur effects there, right? Okay. Okay. And the next thing is I can do some selections. I can use gradient there, okay? Gradient is bluish, right? Kind of gradients for this particular kind of colors over here, right? Simple kind of gradient there first, like this, and then multiply is not that right. Overlay is not that right. Okay, try them, okay? Different kind of tone. Is it okay here? A bit more bluish there, right? Look nice there. Hot light is be kind of off, but can be look right there actually for sometimes actually. But if I use this one, if I want to make the same kind of tone actually, because I actually have spent time basically, right? You have to remember actually, you just you did spend time on the paint styles there. So sometimes we can say, oh, I have done a lot of, I have spent a lot of time just now, okay, just to paint all these kind of things, right? And suddenly, right, if we use gradients, all the things that we've done, there's no point anymore there. It can be there, guys. You can mix them up, multiply a bit. I don't know whether it's right or not. Green is not that right. We have to experiment them, okay? You have to know to experiment them, right? Whether basically which part basically is quite obviously can be used, develop basically your kind of choices there. Obviously, this is not. Abstractions also doesn't look right. Okay. This kind of things has to be experimented, guys. Experiment them, right? It doesn't look right, it's okay. Delete them. So let's just say this is the, and try to show you guys the shortest way to blend between the illustration and the backgrounds there. I'm talking about that one right now. What I can do next, I can use erasers there, guys. Soft brushes erasers, reduce the opacity there, flows, and then increase the size a bit. And I can actually a bit kind of erase, not erase, I can just blend a little bit there, right? To make sure that the particular kind of paint style that I used before will appear a bit, okay, for those visuals there. It can be much there, right? This is basically some of the kind of the tricks that some people doesn't actually experiment there. They actually kind of naive that using the whole thing that they have done and just present it. Okay, you don't use most of the tools there. Develop your kind of understanding on working with your visuals there to blend it up together there. Okay, it doesn't mean this is the actual kind of visuals there. You cannot blend it together over here to give more kind of impact on your presentations. At the same times, I can use also some bubbles there, right? On the visuals here. Brush. Of brushes, right? And I can use another bubbles there, right? Too much there on the bubbles, okay? I can use also the flows. Just to flow a little bit. Give it kind of impact on the visual there. Right. Doesn't have to be too soft like that. This is kind of the effects that we can actually apply on the visuals here. Too much there. What I can do right here, if I'm actually quite satisfied with the visuals there, okay, what I can do, I just can actually write merge link over here there, right? Give the files there first, and I can actually adjust levels. Okay. Present it a little bit better, bit more better, okay? Levels there. You look blending there, right? sorry, I think basically I complete those kind of presentations there. They look presentable. They're still like an Aquaman there, okay? But not Aquaman there, right? Right? Aquaman there. And still look presentable. They still fit basically with the objective of our lessons, right? And some of the details, shadows also quite right. I can actually apply more kind of lightings from here, directly if I want to use that. Like this kind of lightings over here, adjust the size a bit. And size, right. Opacity is a bit there. There is a ray of light there, right? Okay, ray of light there. Can do. Ray of light there, right? Can do. See the difference, right? Ray of light there. That's basically the basics tools that I use. I did not use any fancy tools here. How many layers did I apply to indicate those kind of methods? Basically, not more than 10 layers there. The other things that I'm working on, when I complete those works, I try to indicate different layers there to mix my layers more simplified, okay? So I don't mix up there together back again. Even though this pictures is quite nice, okay, I can actually adjust them if I want to. Right, let's say that, right? Few saturations, I can adjust the colors there if I want to there, right? Yeah. Okay. So don't just rely on the original pictures there, guys. Okay, always try to adjust back again the color combinations there. That's how basically you can actually improve your kind of intuition, your kind of skills of understanding that when you paint it up. Okay. And if I want to draw or try to use another filters like render, lens flare for this part. Okay. Lens flare there, right? Give more shining effect there, right? Okay. Creativity doesn't have to to use a very fancy kind of tools there. Basic tools also can be applied. It's a matter of how you basically apply your skill together back again. Everything is in your mind there to change. All right. Any questions? Goes to Spider-Man, any kind of patterns that you want to paint there, okay? Try to reduce them, but indicate some of the make-believe or suggestions of the line that create that kind of textures that you don't have to actually paint the whole thing one by one. Okay, you spend a lot of times like 4 hours. Okay, for to develop your skill, yes, you have to spend more time from there. But once you actually get it right, it does have to spend more than hours. Okay, what I actually have done right now, okay, I can done more quicker than that. Okay, work smart to it. You have to get used to the tools. You have to get used with the techniques and the skill at the same time. If you say that 15 drawings that you have been done, make yourself good at what you do. You can spend half an hour to develop that kind of skills. It's good. But if you spend all those 10 drawings, only one or two that been complete, for example, already, that means you're not doing your job right there. So you have to practice a bit more and more and more. All right, to develop that kind of skills. The skill that you develop right now is not only for these semesters or for these subjects or for these assignments. You create for your lifetime kind of skills there, but it has to be came from a multiple kind of task and exercise on your own way. But you have to create the right kind of exercise to develop your skills. if those exercise that you create doesn't give a lot of improvement, basically, right? Okay, to design a background for me, okay, we're going to go through with that later on, okay? To design the backgrounds. But we did actually did some of the exercise before previously, like those student book illustration to draw the clouds, okay? Some of the simplest method that I can show you guys to indicate to develop more kind of skills in the future, but you have to practice that, right? But if you just not actually into that kind of experience that you want, right? No one can be changed there. Remember what I said before, right? I can only bring the horses to the rivers there, but I cannot actually force the horses to drink the waters there, right? So it's up to you guys there to put yourself in the positions that you want it, how bad that you want it, right? You want it so bad, and you need to willing to sacrifice and practice yourself. That's all. Okay. Any questions about the techniques? Is it hard? Go back and see back again how it works. I'm going to download them back, right? This kind of videos later on. And the previous video also I have record, I have download, I have to upload back again. That's all there, right? I don't have actually follow the whole thing there. That's basically creativity there. It's not about the skills only, okay? How detailed you can go from there. You want to go into details, take your time there, okay? Willing to sacrifice the time. I don't have the time to sacrifice myself to go into details there. Why? Because DC doesn't pay me to paint this one there, right? But Tao UC paid me to paint this one. Okay. So if DC paid me to paint this one, maybe I'm going to go to show you guys a bit kind of details. But there is not that. That's not the answers for you to develop your skill. To go into detail is another level that you have to achieve. Right now, understanding the core fundamental first, light and shadows, and present it well. If you cannot control the light and shadows, don't go into details there. Because if you can control light and shadows, the details are going to become, right, naturally, okay, in your development works, Okay. Okay, remember about what I say about, okay, sometimes people don't basically realize them, don't actually write. Right. This is basically my license there of teaching. I have to give one of my friend because I have one of the sessions that I have to do some talking, some seminars, okay, for the teachers there, for upcoming teacher on visualizing there, okay. This is basically my license there of teaching. If I'm not talking about all this kind of stuff for you guys, that means I'm not eligible enough to teach you guys there. I'm actually a professional who train the trainers there, right? So work with my kind of fundamentals, kind of understanding there before you're going to explore yourself into different kind of way. Okay? Those are the things there, right? Any questions? Any questions there, guys? Hmm? Right, I see you guys on the next lecturing class and sessions. And hopefully you guys can dig those kind of tactics there. Okay? All the best. Good luck. Improve your line first before you're going to add some of the details. Vaya con Dios.